On October 12th of 2024, Fortnite released an update to its racing side mode, Rocket Racing, and after that day, there would never be another update for the game. No season changes, no content updates, nothing. The only new things to ever be added would be overpriced cosmetics in the item shop. To coincide with the 1-year anniversary of the final Rocket Racing update, let's take a look back at this game, see what went wrong, and what would inevitably cause its own downfall. Let's go back to where it all started. For the release of Fortnite Chapter 5, Epic Games wanted to do something that would forever change the game as it was, by not just becoming a battle royale game, but a full-on metaverse. While this was already kind of the case with the countless amount of collaborations and the user-made maps with UEFN and Fortnite Creative, this metaverse would only be pushed even further with 3 brand new modes created by Epic Games themselves that would be played completely different to what was already in Fortnite. You had an open-world survival game with LEGO Fortnite, a revival to Rock Band from the same dev team with Fortnite Festival, and an arcade racing game from the Rocket League development team, Rocket Racing. While all of these showed big promise, they all shared one fatal flaw at launch. They barely had any content in them. With LEGO Fortnite and Fortnite Festival, they would begin to add more and more with their respective modes, such as new objectives or new songs. But Rocket Racing seemed to always struggle with getting new stuff. At the launch of the game, there was only 25 tracks to play on, with 6 of them being alternate variants of already existing tracks. Even then, the tracks themselves all seemed to blend in together, due to all of them sharing the same themes of being in a desert or being in a forest. However, playing on those tracks shared a special issue of their own, since the game only released with a ranked mode. So if you wanted a more casual racing experience, Rocket Racing was not the game for you. So with only 19 unique tracks and only a ranked mode to play on, the amount of content you had in Rocket Racing was pretty laughable, especially compared to other racing games. But besides all of that, there is one factor to this mode that made it stand out from even the other Fortnite modes that were added in this time. That was the integration with Rocket League. So after Rocket Racing came out, cosmetics from that game would be carried over to Fortnite, and if you bought car bodies in Fortnite, they would be carried over to Rocket League. So with Rocket League already having over 100 car body types, you would expect the game to launch with about half, maybe a quarter of as many car bodies there were in Rocket League, right? Yeah, these are the only bodies available at launch. Alongside that, Fortnite only supported the car bodies, decals, and wheels at launch. That's right, there weren't any boosts or trails aside from the default ones at launch. You had to wait a good while before those things became accessible in Fortnite. Okay, so at launch, the game lacked cosmetic options, and some of the options weren't even available at launch. Surely it couldn't have been any worse than that, right? Oh god. So yeah, if you didn't want to stick with the default Octane in this game, you had to fork over between $25 to $40 for a new car, which made them the most expensive cosmetic type in the entire game, even rivaling the bundle prices for skins. They would eventually reduce the prices a week after launch, but even now it's still decisive on if these new prices are more reasonable with most people. As everyone says, first impressions are everything, and from the looks of it, Rocket Racing really seemed to fumble the bag on that one. Not only from these poor decisions, but also from a generally buggy release. It was clear that this mode was rushed really badly for an early release to coincide with the other metaverse modes, and it really did tank its performance, with over 600,000 players on launch day, only for most of them to never even come back after that day. But despite that, there was one final decision that sealed this mode's fate, and it all happened before the game mode was even announced. So despite Rocket Racing releasing inside of Fortnite, it is still mainly associated with Rocket League, not only for the car cosmetics, but also because it's developed by the same team, Psyonix. So if you wanted to get most of the appeal for Rocket Racing, you not only needed to get fans of Fortnite on board, but also fans of Rocket League as well. Those fans of Rocket League, however, were already in a sour spot with their game also having a lack of new content added to the game, but also from a change that would forever ruin the game's reputation. On October 9th of 2023, Rocket League announced that trading items with other players would be removed the following December due to Epic's new approach to game cosmetics.
What?
To those who aren't too big into Rocket League, this was an extremely controversial change because the trading scene used to be very massive within the community, having its own black market with third-party websites allowing for easier trading for money. To most people, this effectively killed the game for them, but the key factor to this was the date that they would remove trading. December 5th, the same week that Rocket Racing would be released. To most Rocket League players, they saw Rocket Racing as the reasoning behind the removal of trading, which despite not being entirely confirmed, does line up really well with the release of the game. So with a huge majority of Rocket League players already pissed off at the removal of trading, most of them decided never to give Rocket Racing a chance because of it. So already one half of your target audience is already not a fan of your new game. But what about that other half? Will this be enough for Fortnite players? After all, Rocket Racing is a mode inside of Fortnite, so it should appeal to them, right? So right off the bat, Fortnite is a shooter game. So all three of these new modes would already have a disadvantage to appealing to those people. However, Rocket Racing seemed to have the least likely chance of appealing to them. LEGO Fortnite was already very similar to Minecraft, which has a huge overlap with Fortnite players, and Fortnite Festival was marked as the revival of Rock Band. So not only did it get to Fortnite players, but also fans of rhythm games as well. Rocket Racing, however, did not have that mainstream appeal, which may seem a bit contrarian to say since Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, a kart racing game, is one of the highest selling games of all time. But Rocket Racing isn't really that comparable to Mario Kart. Despite them both being racing games, they are different types of racing games. Mario Kart, as the name suggests, is a kart racer, while Rocket Racing is an arcade racer. The main difference between them is that kart racers have more of a casual audience to them, providing a unique flair with its reliance on items and stuff. Arcade racers, on the other hand, focus more on making you go extremely fast and feel that adrenaline rush, which, to its credit, does do that pretty well. But that's not what the Fortnite community wanted. They wanted a more casual experience like Mario Kart. So congratulations, Epic Games, you released a game that both of your core audiences do not care about. So as even more people stop to care about this game more and more, eventually we get to where we are today, where Rocket Racing is no longer supported. Actually, wait, no, just kidding, this isn't over yet. Alright, so I'm almost done editing this video, but I just wanted to add this section because I thought it'd be funny to piss off one of my friends if I did, so yeah, here we go. Okay, so last year, Fortnite would start adding Disney characters into the game, such as, you know, Captain Hook, Cruella, and oh yeah, the Incredibles. Not only that, but they even included the Incredible as a drivable car in the game. It did get delayed for a while, but, you know, that's besides the point. So since we already have the possibility of Pixar characters being added to the game, as long as their own cars, people speculated if Lightning McQueen would be added since he's already in Rocket League. And surely enough, leaks were coming out saying that Lightning McQueen was indeed coming to Fortnite. As the months would go by, more and more information would be leaked out saying that Mater would also be in the game, as long as 3 new tracks with their own unique music. More and more months would go by, and they just straight up removed everything from the files. Yeah, that's pretty anticlimactic. Alright, so that was pretty much the abridged version, but yeah, you pretty much get the point. Even though it's been a long time since they were removed from the files, there is some speculation they might return because of a Rocket Racing revival that's been rumored lately, but, you know, it's neither here or there. Who knows if it'll happen or not. Anyways, that's just my little ramble I wanted to add to the video. After the launch period of this game, new content would be slowly added, such as new seasons, new modes such as speedrun and casual racing, which by the way took half a year to get added, and UEFN support so people can make their own racetracks, or GTA 5's tower ramps, or Skibidi Toilet Brain Run, I don't really fucking know. But even with new content being added, it would never come close to that same peak of players as it did on its launch day, and so it leads to us to that fateful day on October 12th. Announcing that seasonal updates would never happen ever again. And since then, there's just been nothing new for the mode. Only thing we get are rank resets, ranked rewards, that can also be getting in other ranked modes, so people don't even need to play Rocket Racing for those, and item shop cosmetics. Honestly, as one of the few people who really enjoyed Rocket Racing during this period, it really did hurt seeing this game with potential being thrown away just like that. Last year I would have been hopeful for some sort of rework or overhaul to the game, but now that we've reached the 1 year mark, it's pretty much a far-fetched idea at this point. Luckily, this has been an amazing year for racing games in general. So while Rocket Racing failed to hit the mark, at least we've got some new racing experiences to sink our teeth into, like Mario Kart, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, The Karters 2, and Kirby Air Riders, just to name a few. And with that, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. And hey, if you really want to support, you could also use this hype button thing that's like new, or what even is this?